What happens when Latin America's two biggest musical powerhouses come together? Coming from different countries, speaking different languages, yet Brazil funk and reggaeton fit together almost effortlessly. At first, these songs look like just another industry-driven wave of cross-market collaborations. But look a little closer, and they begin to reveal something much bigger. A cultural movement with more roots in common than you might expect. This is Funketon. This is Best of Brazil, your guide to the Brazilian artists and sounds that shaped modern music. Before we start, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episodes. Funketon gives a name to a musical exchange that has been developing between Brazil and Spanish-speaking Latin America. It takes the rhythmic identity of Brazilian funk and brings it into conversation with reggaeton, not as one replacing the other, but as artists and producers reshape both sounds through their own scenes. And what we're hearing today didn't appear overnight. The term itself goes back almost 2 decades. To understand why it's gaining new momentum now, we first need to understand the histories these two sounds carry with them. From their earliest stages, both genres reveal a striking parallel. Before Brazilian funk filled festivals, and before reggaeton dominated global charts, both were treated as sounds that didn't belong in the mainstream. In Brazil, baile funk was heavily associated with crime. Parties were criminalized. Artists faced censorship and persecution, and the genre carried a stigma that followed it for decades. Reggaeton faced its own version of that resistance.
The artists, they would sing about what happens in the favela, and then the government would get pissed and blame it on the rhythm.
In its early years, authorities confiscated mixtapes, radio stations refused to play it, and governments attempted to suppress the movement.
El movimiento urbano ha sido un trabajo en relevo. No sé si has visto las Olimpiadas, que hay una parte de relevo donde el primero, segundo y tercer tramo no llegan a la meta, pero son tan importantes para que ese cuarto tramo llegue a la meta y quede primero. Eso es lo que ha hecho el género urbano.
Different places, different languages, but remarkably similar prejudice. Before becoming two of Latin America's biggest musical forces, both had to fight for the right to be heard. Before the global charts, they were forbidden beats. But here's where the story changes. By the 2000s, both sounds were breaking out of the scenes that created them. In 2004, Daddy Yankee's Gasolina helped push reggaeton into the global mainstream. In Brazil, artists like Anitta, Ludmilla, Dennis DJ, and more would bring Brazilian funk to international stages, charts, and collaborations. Two sounds, once pushed to the margins, were becoming some of Latin America's most recognizable musical exports, with musical identities shaped by Black traditions that traveled across the Americas. Brazilian funk took shape in Rio, where Miami bass, arriving from the United States in the 80s, was absorbed into the city's baile scene and transformed by local DJs and producers. Reggaeton, on the other hand, was deeply shaped by Jamaican dancehall, which traveled to Panama and evolved into reggae en español through Black Panamanian artists before reaching Puerto Rico, where it collided with hip-hop and the island's underground scene. Miami to Rio, Jamaica to Puerto Rico. Different roots shaped by the movement and reinvention of Black music across the Americas. And decades later, those roots finally cross. That's what makes Funketon more than a simple music crossover. It's the meeting point of two genres born on the margins that gave voice to communities often silenced and criminalized, and now are shaping the sound of the global dance floor. If you're discovering Funketon for the first time, don't start randomly. Start with Piriguete. Released in 2006, it was one of the earliest tracks to explicitly bring Brazilian funk and reggaeton together, and helped spread the term Funketon in Brazil nearly 2 decades before today's wave of collaborations. This is true roots. Then go to No Se Ve, MP3, by Emilia and Ludmilla. Released in 2023, its viral success helped put Funketon on the radar across Spanish-speaking Latin America. establishing Emilia as one of the artists most actively connecting Brazil with the Latin pop scene through collaborations with Anitta, Luisa Sonza, Dennis, and Pedro Sampaio. Finally, listen to Tá OK remix. After the original Brazilian funk track became a global hit, its momentum led to an intentional cross-market move, bringing Maluma and Karol G into the remix to expand its reach across Spanish-speaking Latin America. It became Funketon's biggest streaming success to date and gained a new wave of attention this year after Karol G brought the track to the Coachella stage. This is the true hit. Funketon is still evolving. Every new collaboration expands the conversation between Brazil and Spanish-speaking Latin America. One of the latest examples is Tímida, Santa y Peligrosa, bringing together Pedro Sampaio, Cachirula, and Lujan. Blending Brazilian funk with Mexican alternative reggaeton, the track marks another step in Pedro Sampaio's expansion across the Spanish-speaking market. Accompanied by a music video filmed at a taco shop in Mexico City, the release reflects how naturally artists, audiences, and cultures are coming together through this sound. Whether Funketon becomes an official genre or simply the name of a defining cultural moment, one thing is already clear. Brazil and Spanish-speaking Latin America aren't just exchanging influences anymore. They're proving that Latin sounds are stronger together. And today, whether you're discovering Brazilian funk through reggaeton or reggaeton through Brazilian funk, you're witnessing a cultural movement that's still unfolding. And this is only the beginning. Press play and discover Funketon.